Joining us now, former Wells Fargo Chief Economist John Sylvia and former Dallas Fed Senior Vice President and Chief Economist Micheal Cox. Thank you both for being here. John, let me begin with you. There's somewhat dovish, there's dovish, and then there's uber dovish. It seems this is very uber dovish. Would you agree?
No, I think it's a little bit more dovish. I think the Fed did a great job. I think Powell got it right. Sometimes everybody wants somebody to do something and said, no, we're going to stop. We're not going to do anything right now because the data does not suggest that the Fed needs to do anything. They're getting a slower economic growth. Inflation remains under control. The unemployment rate looks very good. I think the Fed got it right.
Micheal, what stood out to you? I guess this is about as close as possible to neutral the Fed can get, right?
Right. Yeah, I think the Fed got it right, and I commend them for that. Overall, they're doing a good job. But I would like to hear more discussion about these amazing changes in the economy. You know, there's some very fundamental changes going on in the economy. Everywhere I look around me, I see what you might call marginal cost production being replaced with a big infrastructure. If I go to McDonald's now, I could order my hamburger for a kiosk. I'll go to Amazon Go. I don't have a checker. And everywhere I look, the structure of production is changing from kind of a high and rising marginal cost economy to a high fixed cost economy with low marginal costs. Right. And in that world, what we need is more growth in order to have lower prices. I could go to a movie that costs $250 million to produce, but for $12 because you go and everybody else goes too, and people across the world go. So what I want is fast growth because that brings me lower prices. And right. Fed's they're kind of, in my view, they're operating with an industrial age mindset still.
Interesting, but
and this is the knowledge economy.
But Micheal, just to follow up, you know, the Fed chair saying that the underlying economic fundamentals are still very strong. Would you agree with that?
That's exactly right. And they're also saying inflation is running below target. Duh. I mean, in the real world, look, a lot of stuff is free right now. FaceTime is free. Email is free. I could go down a long list of stuff that's either free or extremely expensive in terms of its cost compared to what it's worth. The Internet, using the Internet, search engines, and on, being able to get on Amazon and shop at night, to travel through eBay, through
right.
Uber. Shopping, it's just a fantastic world with lower prices, but most of those things elude the price statistics, and to the extent that they do show up, they're holding inflation down.
Let me just, get in very quickly here to John. John,
sure.
Listen, they're tapering the balance sheet. They're going to do that by the end of September. That's a good move, you believe?
Yeah, I think so. And to pick up on Michael's point, it is interesting that Chairman Powell did say that it's difficult for them to get to that 2%
right.
inflation number. It's an asymmetric target, but they're spending all their time trying to get to the 2%. So I think they may let the economy run a little bit hot, may allow inflation to get a little bit above that 2%. If they're allowed to, if they can do that.
Right. Yeah. Low inflation across the globe. Gentlemen, we're running out of time. We have some other breaking news. Thank you very much for joining us.